Welcome to the Friday Night Campfire Stories. My name is Rob, and I will be your host for this evening. This is a very special edition of the Friday Night Campfire Stories for two reasons. One being this is the finale of my story, Survive. It's been an interesting journey so far, but I promised at the end of last week's episode, you guys were not ready for what was going to happen next, and let's see if I can live up to that. So, the other reason that this is a big episode is because in just a few short hours of this video being released, my brand new book, A Perfect Journey Through Villainous Eyes, will be available on Amazon. I have the paperback edition right here. We also have the e-reader edition, so if you guys are any interested in that, it's 6 brand new stories, although you may have a familiar face in one of the stories, so just a little bit of an Easter egg for you. But yes, if you have any interest in that, definitely pick up a copy at midnight Central Time. But let's waste no more time. Let's get into it. This is the finale of my story, Survive. Survive, Chapter 4. With a sudden, deafening roar, the beast raised his massive hands and brought them down with a force that shook the ground. The door splintered under the impact, and the walls of his shelter creaked ominously. Martin scrambled to his feet, eyes wide with terror as the creature's shadow loomed over him. Another powerful blow, and his shelter began to collapse. Martin ducked and rolled to avoid falling debris, his mind racing. He needed to get out to escape the destruction. But the beast was relentless, its fury unmatched. The walls gave way, the roof came crashing down. Martin crawled through the wreckage, his heart hammering in his chest. He managed to pull himself free, just as the beast tore through the last of his shelter. He ran, the cold biting into his skin, but he didn't stop. He couldn't afford to. He glanced back once, seeing the beast standing amidst the ruins of his home. Its eyes glowed fiercely in the moonlight, its breath steaming in the cold air. Martin didn't wait to see what it would do next. He ran deeper into the forest, seeking refuge among the trees. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he was found in a dense thicket and crawled inside. His body shaking with fear and exhaustion, he listened intently, the sound of the beast rampage growing fainter until they disappeared altogether. Martin lays there, panting and shivering, his mind struggling to process what had happened. His shelter, his home, was gone. The beast had destroyed everything he had worked so hard to build. But the initial shock subsided. A steely determination took its place. He was not defeated. He had survived the worst, and he would survive this too. The forest was his home, and he would rebuild. He would learn from this encounter and become even stronger, even more resilient. As the first light of dawn began to filter through the trees, Martin forced himself to move. He would gather his scattered belongings, find a new place to build, and start again. The beast had won this battle, but the war was far from over. Martin was a survivor, and no matter how many times he was knocked down, he would always get back up. The forest was his home, and he would defend it with every ounce of strength he had. The cold seeped into Martin's bones as he huddled into a makeshift shelter, a crude lean-to, built hastily from branches and leaves. His mind was a whirl of fear and determination. The beast had destroyed his home, and now it was time to turn the tables. He would hunt it down and reclaim his place in the forest. Martin armed himself with his bow, arrows, and spear that he had crafted. He moved stealthily through the snow-covered woods, scanning for any signs of the creature. Days passed without a trace. The only sound was the crunch of his footsteps and the wind rustling through the bare branches. Frustration gnawed at him. The beast seemed to have vanished, leaving him alone in the freezing wilderness. He returned to his temporary shelter each night, the cold pressing in on him. His fire provided little comfort against the relentless chill. He wrapped himself in animal hides, but it was not enough. Each night, he felt himself growing weaker, the cold sapping his strength. One particularly frigid night, as he lay shivering and feeling the icy fingers of death closing in, he heard it. The beast was back. Martin's heart pounded as he grabbed his spear and crawled out of his shelter. The creature's glowing eyes pierced the darkness, and Martin's fear was replaced with a surge of adrenaline. He charged at the beast, thrusting his spear forward. The beast roared and swatted at him, the blow sending Martin sprawling into the snow. Undeterred, Martin scrambled to his feet and lunged again. He managed to stab the creature's side, but the spear barely penetrated its rock-solid skin. The beast roared in pain and fury, its eyes blazing with savage intensity. It chased after Martin, its massive form barreling through the snow with terrifying speed. Martin ran, weaving through the trees, trying to stay ahead of the creature's powerful strides. He used every trick he knew, climbing trees to catch his breath, leaping over fallen logs, and doubling back on his own trail to confuse the beast. But it was relentless, its roars echoing through the forest as he pursued him. He was over 8 miles deep into the woods. The distance to the main road seemed insurmountable, but Martin had no choice. He had to escape. As dawn broke, casting a pale light over the snowy landscape, Martin's strength was nearly gone. His breath came in ragged gasps, and his muscles ached with exhaustion. Finally, he burst through the tree line onto the main road. His legs gave out, and he collapsed onto the asphalt. A park ranger's vehicle appeared, the driver jumping out and rushing to Martin's side. The ranger exited his car and helped Martin to his feet, and guiding him into the warmth of his vehicle. Minutes later, another vehicle arrived. Martin assumed it was another ranger. The man opened the car door and began questioning him. "What happened out there?" he asked in his sharp tone. "There was a beast, a creature in the woods. It destroyed my shelter, chased me. I tried to kill it, but it's unstoppable." Martin's words tumbled out in a frantic rush. The man's eyes narrowed. "A beast? Can you describe it?" "It's huge, 7, 8, 9 feet tall maybe, covered in fur, with glowing eyes. It's a monster." Martin's voice wavered, his fear palpable. The man exchanged a look with the park ranger before continuing. "How long have you been out there, sir?" "Months. I've been living off the land, trying to survive, but the beast, it won't let me." He nodded slowly, then leaned closer. "Martin, why were you out there in the first place?" Martin hesitated, his eyes darting around. "I wanted to live off the land, to escape things. Wait. How did you know my name?" "What things, Martin?" Martin's heart raced as he noticed the man he was talking to was not wearing a park ranger outfit, but an FBI uniform. I needed to get away from everything." The officer's expression hardened. "Martin, you've been a very hard criminal to catch. It all makes sense why we couldn't find you. We've had your picture posted on every news station across the entire country." "What? No, sir, my name's not Martin, it's Martin Steele. You are under arrest for over 20 accounts of terrorism in the United States and 500 murders," the officer announced while grabbing Martin out of the car and putting him in handcuffs. "What about the beast?" Martin asked. "If there's a beast out there, I'm sure someone would have reported it way before you," says the officer. Martin sat in the back of the cop car as they drove out of the wooded area. He sat there and replayed the events in his head. All the evil things that Martin had done. All the lives that had ended because of this sinister man. All the emotions caught up with him. The fear of what was waiting for him when he left that forest. The hatred that stems from this wicked human being. That was the beast. It wasn't a tall creature living in the woods. It was the terror living inside Martin's brain. There's no telling how long Martin would have made it out there if it wasn't for his own anxieties. Parades were thrown across the country for the capturing of Martin Steele. This lone soul was the reason for countless families losing loved ones. Tortured emotions of not being able to see close friends and family members ever again. Friends and relatives of the victims would be outside the prison, chanting and picketing around until the judges granted the death penalty for Martin. At last, Martin was behind bars. He was far from freedom of living in the woods. At this point, he would trade anything to be given one more chance. Martin had lived with the consequences, though. He didn't deserve to be free. He didn't deserve the luxury of fresh air. After all, he was a villain. So that is going to do it for my story, Survive. I told y'all I don't think y'all were ready for the ending. Kind of a very unexpected journey. But if only there was like some sort of way that like we could know more about who this guy is and like, I don't know, just like where he came from or who he's actually. How did that get there? A little bit of an Easter egg again for you guys. So yes. But since it's here, let's go ahead and talk about it. Again, one last plug. My book, Perfect Journey Through Villainous Eyes, is available on Amazon just a few short hours. If it's after March 1st or afterwards, then the book is already out. So again, if you are an avid reader or a lover of thriller stories or looking to support an independent author / rookie content creator, please check out this book. It would mean an absolute lot to me. Like I said, we have the paperback edition if you want the physical edition. We also have an e-reader edition. If you have Kindle Unlimited, it's absolutely free with your subscription. So yes, please check out this story if you can. If you're not a reader or have no interest in reading, that is fine. We will be covering 5 of the 6 stories eventually here on the channel. It is going to be a while before we get through them, but we will be getting through 5 of the 6 books here on the channel. The only one that we will not be doing is Booth, which is a psychological thriller that's absolutely crazy. But that one will not be covered on the channel. That is a book exclusive. So purchasing the book or reading the book in any way, shape, or form is the only way that you'll be able to hear that story. But the other 5 of 6 we will be covering here on the channel. But that is going to do it for today. I hope that you guys did enjoy my story, Survive. As one story ends, another begins. So next Friday, we will be coming back with a brand new story. Which one is it? Well, it's the last one from my debut book, Whisper in the Shadows. But if you don't know which one that is, I'm sure you won't have to wait that much longer to find out. But yes, that will do it for today. Hope that you guys did enjoy. Be sure to click that subscribe button. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. We are getting closer to that, so if we can do that by the end of March, that would be an absolute dream for me. Don't forget to hit that like button. And as always, thank you for spending a little bit of your evening here with me.